this is a funny segment because I want to show you guys the type of audience that the propaganda that we are showing you trying to cultivate. Let's show you the kind of audience that people like David Pacman are trying to cultivate. Who are the people who watch Born Joe? Who are the people who are buying this? If you believe these are real people, I'm going to show you guys this massive rally. This rally of Ukraine flag Nazi sympathizing liberals that was reported by Reuters. Look at this massive rally. Hundreds gathered. Hundreds. I mean, we only had like 2,000, 3,000 at the March rally against the War Machine rally, right? No coverage of that. But they got hundreds here that are sympathetic. And that's the funny thing. That's the most ironic thing about this. The most ironic thing about this is that they are making a comparison of Putin to Hitler as they're siding with Nazis. Isn't that great? Let's watch the video. Let's watch the video and listen to this cringe. Look at this shit-lit protest.
Oh, I saw that. I saw this.
Strengthening and everything possible to uphold the fundamental principle.
365 days of sorrow, losses, tragedies, and destruction. But we are not talking about that today. We are talking about 365 days of heroic, almost impossible fight. Ukrainians defending our homes, loved ones, our independence, our dignity, our sovereignty, freedom, and democracy.
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state.
The United States just performed the biggest act of eco-terrorism we've seen in years, by the way, with the Nord Stream pipeline. Just one point there.
I think that people were desperate and shocked and baffled. And this year it's different. This year we have hope, and we are certain that Ukraine will win, because we can see that Ukraine is winning already with the use of all
really
the support.
These people will nowhere be found where the Azov Battalion and fascist Ukrainians was shelling the Donbass. 14,000 Ukrainians was killed. No marches, no call for peace. In fact, the only thing that's going to happen if the liberal fantasy that happens of Putin just pulling out of Ukraine is that you're going to have the Azov Battalion and fascist Ukraine retaliate against. Can you imagine what they're going to do, CJ? To the people in the Donbass after what they did? After the people, they already got caught torturing and killing people that they caught being Russian sympathizers when they retook Russian territory, right? So they're gonna, if Russia pulls out, the people in the Donbass are fucked, son. Luhansk is fucked. But they don't care. The NATO left don't care. These people don't care. That's why I find these people disgusting, because they do this pony show where they're like, we so moral, we care about Ukrainian people, except the victims of the fascist Azov Battalion that the BBC did a report on years ago, how there was a wave of political violence in Ukraine. So people who wanted to, who promoted peace, the people who voted for Zelensky, who wanted peace in Ukraine, that was his mandate. Those people was politically intimidated. There was people who were pro-Russian organizers who was attacked by these violent fascists. No conversations about that from these people. That is what really disgusting to me. It's a weaponization of empathy here. But we don't have to really continue because you guys get the point. It's not even really required to watch the whole video. Because look at, this is not a long story. Reuters, hundreds gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest against Russia's invasion of Ukraine and demand further aid from the U.S. So remember when Rachel Maddow did a segment, she was like, oh my God, look at this small, insignificant rally. The small, insignificant rally that had 2,000, 3,000 people. That's like the estimate right now. But meanwhile, Reuters, and I'm sure many others, this is the first one I saw and I grabbed for the story. They're writing a story about this protest. They got hundreds. And I'm saying maybe 200, 300 people there. That me being generous.
That's being generous. I was just about to say that. That's being generous there.
And my last point I want to make on this point here. There was people, as I explained earlier, who was attacking the Rage Against the Machine rally for being pro-war. Because they were like, you got pro-war speakers here. You guys are apologizing for the Russian invasion. The reason why I know those people are ops, because where are they on this? You got a pro-war rally here. This is literally a pro-war rally. Remember the people like, oh my God, I am against the Rage Against the Machine rally because Tulsi Gabbard is there, right? People, completely silent on this rally. So ask yourself why that is. Why the same people who made it their fucking career the last 2 weeks to criticize the Rage Against the War Machine rally had no criticism of a pro-Nazi, pro-war rally? What does that say, CJ? What does that say? So I'm gonna show you guys this, and this is last part of the story because the story not long, as I said. This is what not being shown. This is why I mocked the hundreds, thousands of anti-war protesters are in the streets in Paris to protest armed deliveries to Ukraine. And
Pour la paix en Ukraine.
Here it is.
Pour la paix en Ukraine. Sortons vite de l'OTAN.
Completely absent from corporate media. Completely absent from corporate media.
Hey, but CJ, hundreds was at DC to tell to share the support for the Azov Battalion. That's what got Reuters support. Now here's another one, not just France. In Germany, 1,000 showed up to protest their support for NATO. Nowhere to be found in TYT. Nowhere to be found in progressive media. But they're going to cover this 100, they protest 100 people talking about NATO, right? There's Germany. A lot of people calling out the United States for the involvement in Nord Stream as well at these protests. No coverage. So once again, that's any last thoughts you have on that, CJ? I think that was funny. All the people that had criticism against the Rage Against the Machine rally, I told you guys there was maybe like 5 to 10% of them that I think like, okay, that's a good point, and then they still advocate for the. They didn't tell people not to go to the rally. They didn't say not to engage with the rally. They had criticism. They move on. That's maybe 5%. The rest of it was people like Savvy told you guys, she was getting DMs from people like, don't go to the rally, don't do this. All these people fear-mongering over that rally. Nothing to say over this.
I think it's a sign of desperation.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a sign of desperation. This is just another example of the ruling class being desperate because they can see that the public sentiment about this war is shifting. Because now it's hitting pockets. It's hitting. Winter is here. You got people in Europe living through it, and you see why they're in the streets a lot. Why they're in the streets often. They're going to have a lot more people in the streets. And then you have the stories that you pointed out on Joy-Ann Reid's show with Malcolm Nance. This is all signs of desperation of funding for the war. They thought they were going to be doing the same thing. This is the same war thing about, 2 or 3 years of milking this, but they can see that this is a shorter line of public acceptance of this that they have for this. And they're trying to drum it up, whether artificially or not. They don't care if it's artificial, just as long as they can drum it up. And I think that's what they're doing.